At this point, the John Wick movies and character have become iconic ever since the first movie released in 2014. The series is known for its insane, over-the-top fight scenes and action sequences, as well as its complicated, convoluted plot. Well, the first one was simple, but 2, 3, and 4 got more complicated with the high table and continental past. And now the franchise is on its 4th movie, which just released on March 24th this year, 2023. There's a lot of build-up and chaos to live up to, which it perfectly capitalizes on. Let's talk about it. Before I continue, I want to say that I am sick with the cold right now, and I wasn't going to record this today, but I wanted to get it out this weekend, so I decided that I was still going to record it. So my voice is a bit nasally, and I've been coughing a lot, but I'll cut those out and all that, so we won't probably hear that in the video unless it's like impossible for me to cut it out without ruining the whole thing. But just take quick notice of that. So if I do sound different and you can actually hear that, you're paying attention to that, that is why. Now, you can't talk about the John Wick franchise without talking about, like I said, the insane, over-the-top action. So that's where we'll start. And somehow, Chapter 4 finds way to outdo the entire franchise and take the ante up to 100. Well, already kind of there, so past 100. The sequences in this movie are just really crazy and awesome. They're all acted and choreographed perfectly, and everyone does wonders, even the people that are just there to, get killed brutally. And before I talk about any of this, I do want to say that the stunts and the stunt performers need to be acknowledged at like award shows and stuff. But they need to have their own award because they're putting their lives on the line. They're risking a lot just for the entertainment of moviegoers and critics. So the fact that they're never really acknowledged like that is insane to me, because there are so many insane moments in this where it's like they could have easily just died, gotten seriously injured, put in a hospital. People probably have all the time, and it's not even acknowledged. So raise awareness for that. We need stunt acknowledgement at the Oscars, the Academy Awards, everywhere. And with that said, this movie has my favorite sequences of any of them. My personal favorite is a shootout they have with a Dragon's Breath shotgun, with like the flame rounds. And it's filmed from above, like with a top-down angle, kind of like, it looks like a video game. It looks like Hotline Miami. And it is just amazing, and I was smiling the entire way through that sequence because I love it so much. It was so cool to watch, and it was just, it's also, I'm pretty sure, in one take, which is insane, because that's just like, it was following Keanu as John like the entire way through, other than a few moments where it came down to show the character Tracker and what he was up to. But other than that, it was just following him the entire way through while he's shooting people. He steals one of the Dragon's Breath shotguns, and it's just so good, and it's perfect, and I can't talk about it enough. So that's my favorite sequence of the movie and of the franchise. It's beautiful. I love it so much. There's a shootout sequence that happens in a street full of cars, zooming by, and that one's insane as well. It was shown briefly in the trailers, I think. It's really, really cool. And you also, get the car foo with that too, where John's in the car and other people are too, and that whole sequence is really fun. There's one near the end on a huge flight of stairs that's like, it's like probably 1,000 steps, maybe more, because it's a lot. And that's really intense, and I was holding my breath during that sequence because of the story aspect of what was happening on the stairs. But the whole fight was really fun. And there's sequences with Donnie Yen's character, Kane, and he's perfect, by the way. I'll talk about him a little bit about him later, but he is perfect, and his fight scenes are insane. Koji's fight scenes are really good too. That's Hiroyuki Sanada's character. Just insane fight scenes. I really can't talk about all the ones I love. Just watch the movie and see what I'm talking about. It's perfect. The cast obviously makes the action sequences what they are, and everyone involved was perfect with the role they were given. Of course, there's Keanu Reeves as John Wick, who, born for this role, honestly. He's perfect in every single movie, and especially in this one, he's just great. One of the greatest action stars you could ever get, and I love him. He's fun. Yeah, that he has not a lot of dialogue in this movie, and I like all the other ones. I think the only line I can remember him saying, other than like that and "I need a gun," but still, it's still perfect. Like That's all the acting needed voice wise. All of his acting comes from the fighting and the way he takes hits. When he's limping all the time. I don't know why I did this when he was limping. That's not limping, but you get what I mean. He's perfect for the role. Keanu is John Wick. There's no John Wick without Keanu Reeves. The movie introduces many characters, which, surprisingly, unlike Halloween Ends, it works well. I was worried with all the characters they were introducing that it wouldn't work well with the main story, but they're able to explore the characters very, very well, give them the backstory they need, and give them the action sequences they need, and the actors play them perfectly too, and it works well. It's something I was worried about because they were in the other ones, but they managed to pull it off perfectly, such as Donnie Yin's character, who he plays a blind man named Kane. He is amazing in this movie, as I mentioned earlier. And first off, I'd just like to say, I don't think he's blind in real life. He's definitely not. And he plays the blind part just phenomenally. I would not think twice if someone told me he was actually blind in real life, because it really seems like he is. He mastered the art of kind of like Charlie Cox's Daredevil, where he's just kind of like staring at nothing, like that 1,000-yard stare kind of type thing, where they're just kind of like wide-eyed, looking at nothing while, talking or fighting. I'm kind of just rambling now, but I just thought that was nice. That was something I was thinking about like the entire movie when he was on screen, especially when he's fighting too, because he'll be fighting, he'll be looking like this direction while this person's here, and he's just like fighting them. And it's really nice. I just like how well he pulled that off, and he wants to do a spin-off, Donnie Yen, with Kane, and I love that. I think there's many ideas you could explore there, and I'm all for that. He's perfect. Bill Skarsgård plays the main antagonist of the film, whose name I won't try to pronounce completely, but I know they say Marquis a lot, and he's great in the movie. And as one of my friends once said, I don't know why I said once, like it was a long time ago, but as my friend said, it's fun to see him basically lose his cool in the whole movie. And yeah, Bill Skarsgård is great in the role. He has this, I think it's a French accent. It's really nice. He's good in the movie. He's a great actor. Another new addition that I absolutely loved, and he's honestly one of my favorite characters of the whole franchise, is the Tracker, or Mr. Nobody, played by Shamir Anderson, who's an actor I'm not familiar with and never seen. So it was cool to be introduced to him and fall in love with one of his characters. He's just really cool, and he's, like I said, brand new, and he's kind of he's not involved in anything, really, He just appears because he wants money by killing John Wick for the bounty. That's all he's here for. But he's a tracker, and that's his whole character, basically, that he's amazing at not his whole character, but, he's amazing at tracking people. He knows how to get to John Wick, and he has this book, I don't want to spoil it, actually, but yeah. And he has a dog, and his bond with his dog is just so nice to see. It's, obviously important to John Wick, dogs, so you can probably understand where that's going, but it was just really nice, and I loved him. He was really good. The music in the film is so good too, and it's not just generic action movie music like I've come to expect from any action movie. And that's the thing I've noticed in every single John Wick movie, but it's just something that I appreciate and is worth pointing out, because with action movies, you don't really think, yeah, the soundtrack was so good, no one really talks about it too much, other than maybe 80s movies. But it's just nice to hear, They had so many cool sounds, some synths type things in there. I love synths, so that was nice. And just, there's a Rina Sawayama song on the soundtrack called Eye for an Eye, and I love that song a lot. It's really good. And it's just nice to hear it and see it and appreciate it when, you know, you actually get it in an action movie, because you don't get it all the time. Something that surprised me in this movie is the beautiful and excellent cinematography. You know, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention other than the fight scenes in the first two movies, but this film, Chapter 4, has just some beautiful, cool shots. Like, there's a couple sunsets that are rising, and those are just amazing. There's a shot where they're like meeting at this building in front of the Eiffel Tower, and it's shot so perfectly, so beautifully, and it really helps make the film look and feel even better than it already does. And it's just something worth noting, you know? It's beautiful. Before I end the video, I just want to give a special moment to this video dedicated to Lance Reddick, who sadly passed away earlier this month. He played Winston's concierge and was really good in his role. He was very nice, and he's such a great actor in general, and he seemed like such a sweet person, and it's sad to see him pass away, especially right before the film, you know, released. And it's what I remember the most from is John Wick and his bit on the Eric Andre show. You know, I wish I would have LeVar Burton. That, I just, you know, he's nice. I love him. You know, may he get his slave role in heaven, and may he be eating all the Olive Garden breadsticks that he wants. Rest in peace, Lance Reddick. And with that said, John Wick Chapter 4 is the pinnacle, the peak, the ultimate action film, and I don't ever see it getting better than this. It's the perfect action franchise, ending on a perfect, or at least nearly perfect, finale. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.